Hey guys, welcome to Boxing Squad for boxing news and views from around the internet. There's a huge card in Germany this weekend featuring about half a dozen or so heavyweight fights called the Night of Heavyweights. At the top of the bill we have Agit Kabayel defending his EBU title. Also undefeated Tom Schwarz, who has that high WBO ranking. He's back in action. And newcomer Peter Kadiru, he will be having his first pro fight. There is a lot of interest in Europe about him, so we'll have to see what he can do in the ring. That is a fighter to watch. Also a number of other names, up-and-comers on this bill. So we'll get to that, and also some streaming details because you will be able to watch this. I'll get to all of that and more, so buckle in. Let's go. So starting off with the feature fight, this is Agit Kabayel and Rinko, and this is from Agit Kabayel's Instagram page. It's from the press conference. And here, you know, you've got his EBU title, Agit Kabayel, on the left. But Rinko, when I first saw this photo, I was wondering, actually, he looks more like 45 than 35. Maybe it's just the outfit or something. But Rinko, a record of 32-3, just clicking over to his box rec here, 32-3. He's been a bit inactive in the past couple of years. His losses to Alexander Povetkin, that was mid-2017. Not a great fight for him. He was pretty much dominated throughout, outpointed, lopsided decision loss to Povetkin. But before that, he had a couple of losses back in 2014 and 2015. That was to Lucas Browne and Hughie Fury. And those scorecards, I can't really remember those fights. He was still relatively comprehensively outboxed by both. And really, if Lucas Browne is scoring a decision over Rinko, really Rinko needs to try and go for the knockout. But he's not a noted KO puncher, 56% knockout ratio from his 35 fights. But Kabayel, the EBU holder, he's defended that a couple of times. The Chisora fight was his first defense. He defended it against Miljan Rovkanen. That was his only fight of 2018, and he won the strap from Herve Hubo. So this is another defense of the belt. It was meant to originally be against Otto Warren, but Warren's trainer was attacked in New York. It was sort of been put off. Warren will remain the mandatory challenger. We'll have to see what happens with those two. But Otto Warren, he is potentially going to be fighting on that Shields card in Atlantic City in April. That's Clarissa Shields, that is. But Rinko, yeah, he's durable, and he's probably going to take Kabayel the distance here. But I don't think he's going to win this one. And he is a bit undersized here to Kabayel. He's 6 foot to Kabayel 6'4", 73-inch reach for Rinko as compared to, it's not listed here, but I think it's about 77 inches from memory. But Kabayel, yeah, I do expect he's going to basically put on a bit of a clinic here and box Rinko socks off and coast to a decision. I'd be shocked if he didn't, actually. Rinko, he's a fading force in the heavyweight division. Maybe didn't quite reach his potential, but he is definitely past prime in my view, and I think Kabayel takes this top of the bill fight quite easily for me. It would have been interesting to see that one in fight because Kabayel and Otto Warren, both good technicians, and that really would have been quite a technical battle there. But if we click over to the, I'll just close these ones down, to the next one, Tom Schwarz. He is facing a former cruiserweight in Kristijan Kristicic. So Tom Schwarz, 24 years old, 23-0, 6'5", unbeaten with 15 KOs. And this guy at Kristicic, I'll just bring up his box rec. Where is it here? So he only made the move up to heavyweight back in 2018, actually, mid last year. So he's only had a couple of low-level fights by the look of it. He is 38 years old, 17-1, and I gotta say, I've been giving Tom Schwarz quite a lot of criticism in the past 6 months or so, given he's 23-0 now. He really hasn't faced anyone of note on his record, and this really just adds to it. So looking at the record, it's pretty padded. There's not a lot of big names on here. There's a lot of sort of lower level guys who are on the slide or just flat out journeymen. Some of it has been crafty matchmaking too. It's kind of like some of the matchmaking that Joseph Parker's promoters Duco used to do with him. You have these guys who are overmatched. It looks competitive. You know, the record of the opponent is decent, but really they don't offer too much. Senad Gashi, that's an example. Remember, Carlos Takam fought him. He sort of ran for the first few rounds, and as soon as he sort of started to plant his feet, Takam was all over him like white on rice. So Tom Schwarz, he really needs to, if he's going to justify his high ranking in the WBO, he's been in or around the top 5 for the best part of, what, a year, maybe longer than that? And he's rated the #1 guy in Germany right now, if you can believe that. I actually think that Agit Kabayel is a better talent than Tom Schwarz. Definitively, he is a better talent. Tom Schwarz, I'm not convinced about yet. I need to see more, but you know, 23-0 and soon to be 24-0. I'm just not quite liking the way that his promoters are bringing him along. It is really at a snail's pace. It's one of these things where, you know, you see a number of fighters these days who get onto a ranking, they're fighting nobodies to maintain it, and it kind of just, you know, it's really doing nothing for their careers. It's like they're treading water, and when is this guy going to step up? He needs a step-up fight, something within, you know, maybe the top 50 would be nice, or even, you know, top 60 or something like that, because the opposition that he's faced so far has been certainly well below that. Anyway, I'll crack on to the WBO Instagram page. That's got a shot here from the press conference. So Schwarz on the left here. He is the WBO Intercontinental belt holder. So a quote from the press conference, which they have put here. The last weeks we've worked well and intensively on my fitness and athleticism. Kristicic maybe is better physically defined, but if he takes my right hand, that does not help him. And Kristicic, with my training in the USA, I've now arrived in the heavyweight division. I'll make life difficult in the ring for Tom, and one stay victorious. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. So, yeah, this is another fight for Tom Schwarz, defending that WBO Intercontinental belt. Yeah, he's got to do a bit more for me. How about you? What do you make of this guy so far? I simply don't know really where to place him. Some of these fights that I have seen, like that most recent one against Lewandowski, I wasn't really that impressed. And that fight with Senad Gashi, I mean, he really showed he had some good acting chops. He was hamming it up. Ultimately, Gashi got disqualified. Sure, Gashi was fouling a bit, but Tom Schwarz was hamming it up to the referee too. I don't know. I'm a little bit down on him at the moment. But if we look at this card more broadly, which hasn't been updated because I'm pretty sure these other guys here have fights, and also it doesn't feature Peter Kadiru, who is definitely on the card, and I'll come to Kadiru in a minute. You've got Hussein Muhammad. He's 9-0. Some people really rate him highly. You have Thomas Salek. He is 9-0 as well. You've got Eric Pfeffer, 3-0, and I do know some people rate him highly, think he might be able to do something down the line in the division. And Danilo Milicic. I don't really know too much about him. He's in a 4-rounder. Eric Pfeffer in a 6-rounder. Thomas Salek in a 6-rounder, and Hussein Muhammad in an 8-rounder. So I'll just go to a press release which has been done by SES, which is promoting the event. So I'll just cut to the second part of it regarding Peter Kadiru. Night of heavyweights by 3 undefeated heavyweights, Eric Pfeffer, Dino Milicic, Hussein Muhammad. Tension is also promised by Peter Kadiru's debut for the SES boxing stable. The highly traded boxer, asked for by many boxing managers, has won almost everything as a junior in the amateur field. Was youth Olympic champion, youth European champion, youth vice world champion. And this is Peter Kadiru here. This is from his Instagram. He says he's definitely fighting, even though BoxRec does not have that listed. He is on the bill, and that is going to be one of the main fights that is featured. So it's on German television, but it's also being streamed online. And that press release that I showed you, I'll leave a link to that, because there is a link down the bottom, see here, that you can click to get to the event. And when you do click to that, you come up with, well, actually, I've skipped out a step, but you go to the website and then scroll down and you will see Tom Schwarz, Agit Kabayel, and Peter Kadiru in the middle. Click on that and then this will come up. Obviously, there is nothing playing at the moment, but it looks like from 8:30 there will be the streaming, but I would double check that because Google Translate, I'm not exactly sure. I think it said 10:30 the main fights, and that's German time. But this is a very interesting card, and I expect Kabayel to win, probably grinding out a points decision. He'll look decent in the process, probably make Andrei Rinko look his age. He's 35 now, a bit on the slide. I think Kabayel cruises to a points win. Tom Schwarz probably takes care of this 17-1 Croatian who's a former cruiserweight. And then you have Peter Kadiru. Also, Hussein Muhammad, that'll be interesting to... I really haven't seen much of him. Some people do have big raps on this guy, so we'll have to see how he shapes up. But yeah, definitely, I'll leave the link to this in the description box. And you may need VPN, I'm not sure of that. But if you don't have VPN and you don't know what it is, do a quick Google and you can set those up pretty easily. But it is going to be streamed on the website. Anyway, what do you make of it all? Drop a comment, loud and often, hit like, hit subscribe, follow me on Twitter, boxing_squared. I'm out.